Or the following fic is rated M. So it's to warn you, we might get a little dirty with our jokes. Thank you, and please enjoy the rest of the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fandom Fridays. I apologize for missing out on last week. Kind of got a little distracted writing a Pokemon battle between Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, and it took up all my time. You know how it goes. You're writing also Pokemon battle. But I would like to say to make up for it, I'd like to talk more about the fanfics that are not pony related. Why? Because I have a new desk, a new chair, and got started, but I'm not gonna use it. Yeah, you can't see it, but I got a brand new chair, and it is really comfortable. Even allows me to move the armrest up. So now I can just let my arms drip if I want. Also, got a lot of lumbar support. Oh yeah. But you're not here today to talk here to me to talk about chairs. No, you're here to talk to me about lamps. Ow. That's only a kid. No, you're here to me to do a whole bunch of fanfics. And again, to make up for the lack of Naruto fics and the fact that the first one that ever showed up on this show was a piece of shit Naruto and Predator crossover that I'm glad to have made fun of, we're gonna do some. And I just happened to realize that we could deal with some of the stuff from one of my favorite Next Generation stories. So, without further ado, stay here at Streetberry Memorial Library and proud to present a Boruto fic. Sukebe Goroshi by Evil Fuzzy number 9. Enjoy. Sukebe Goroshi by Evil Fuzzy number 9. So what do you guys do when you come up with these screen names? Do you just come up with the top of your hats? Chapter 1? Oh, chapter. Konohamaru-sensei, I want to learn ninjutsu. Konohamaru Saratobi looked down at one of his Genin horses, Sarada Uchiha, the daughter of his mentor former teammate. The girl was peering at him with steely, determined gaze that reminded him of both her mother and her father. Ninjutsu, he said. Sure, but what kind? Some Jonin sensei believed it was important to encourage their students to learn their own techniques and own styles, and would refrain from teaching their personal jutsu to the kids. In a way, this made sense, as Konoha was a village populated by very many prominent ninja clans with their own distinct hidden or keke genkai. Most ninja came from ninja families, and most ninja families had their own styles of fighting, their own stores of jutsu to pass down to the next generation. Konohamaru understood this, and was willing to let his students learn at their own pace. On the other hand, though, he was enjoyed passing along his own knowledge, and he wanted his students to view him as a good sensei. Besides, most of his jutsu weren't clan-specific. The Saratobi were good generalists, like the Senju, lacking any particular bloodline limit or a secret tradition. He instead long focused on just getting good at every little bit of thing. So, there were many of his jutsu that could potentially be learned by his students. It would be too hard to find something that could be incorporated to the various fighting styles. Not that fighting was the only thing a ninja should learn, of course, but nearly any mission shinobi might undertake could potentially involve combat and destruction, and they were still ultimately soldiers. Any one of them might have to fight in defense of this village, or in the shinobi union at any time. So fighting ability was important, if far from the quality of value. Sarada looked up at Konohamaru, her gaze intent. She nodded slowly as if in response to some inner dialogue. Finally, she spoke up. A jutsu that can beat the Rasengan, she said. I want to learn something like that. Konohamaru cocked an eyebrow. Oh, that's tricky, he admitted. What kind of Rasengan? There are jutsu that might counter one variety, but only strengthen the other. Especially if we're talking about Rasengan with elemental charges. It's a rare jutsu. Only me and Lord 7 really use it. I think the 6 also technically knows it, but it's not something you should ever have to fight. Not unless... Oh, and Boruto. And Jiraiya. But Jiraiya's dead, so he don't count any guys who know how to use the Rasengan and how to wield it. I just realized we only have 3 ninjas who learn the who know the Rasengan, or 4, if Kakashi does know it. This is really significantly lower than the number of people who know how to use the freaking Kamehameha wave. Understanding him, then, as he spoke, he looked down at Sarada, seeing to him how sheepish and painted and expressive. Konohamaru perceived what he really wanted. A jutsu that could beat the Rasengan. He chuckled. Well, I don't know about being a Rasengan, he continued, but I do know a jutsu that could beat Boruto. Sarada adjusted her glasses, looking a little pink. Oh, well, I didn't say I wanted to beat him, she mumbled. Just, the Rasengan, but if you have a jutsu that could beat Boruto, then I suppose I wouldn't mind learning it. If there's nothing better. How Sinadre of you? Konohamaru said absently, scratching his chin. But that could work to your advantage. Pardon? Sarada gave him a bemused look. Nothing, Konohamaru said, waving a hand. You want to know a jutsu that beat Boruto, right? Well, I got just the thing. Here, let me show you. He raised his hands and joined them to a single seal. A burst of white smoke enveloped his body. As Sarada continuously watched, a Serapon activated unconsciously, bringing the flow of his chakra community to memory. When the smoke cleared, the image of a voluptuous brunette, naked save for lingering wisps that conspicuously concealed her most private regions, was burned in Sarada's eyes. Sarada recoiled. What? Sensei? She exclaimed, appalled. What kind of good for nothing teacher is that? You pervert! There burst of smoke, and the buxom, beautiful woman was replaced by frowning Konohamaru. Hey, there's no need for name calling, Miss Sarada, he said. This is Lord Seven's own personal jutsu. See? He invented it himself. It was the first jutsu he ever taught me. Don't lie, Sarada said, giving her Jonin instructor a distasteful look. Like Lord Seven would ever create a jutsu that repugnant! He's the paragon shinobi, the hero of the Fourth Great War, and the leader of our village. As if he would ever make a preferred jutsu like that. Eh? Said Konohamaru, cocking an eye. But Naruto Nichan was the one who taught me invented this jutsu. I even remember the first time I saw it. He used this technique to floor my grandpa's shot. And that was the Sadahime. He used the jutsu to be a jonin when he was just a genin. He even got Kaguya with it. Kaguya? Said Sarada, interrupting with a puzzled look. She dimly remembered the name from history class. You mean, like the old ninja clan? No, not them. The monster guys, said Konohamaru. The one who ate Madara, or something like that. Sarada was still skeptical. Her? But there's almost no proof that Kaguya even existed, she said. Their fight, if it happened at all, would have taken place when everyone was trapped in that big illusion. Even at Tsukiyomi, I think. But there were no witnesses. There was no body left behind. Sounds right, said Konohamaru. But even if there's no documentation, there is word of the 6th and 7th Lords of Kage to go off of. And the testimony of your own parents, too. Even if there is no proof, I can't see a reason for all 4 of them to lie. Maybe, Sarada conceded. She was a well-read girl, and knew that many serious historians treated the account of Kaguya with considerable skepticism. On the other hand, she greatly revered the Lord Hokage, particularly Lord Seventh, and she wouldn't disbelieve her parents either. She shook her head. This still doesn't convince me that Lord Hokage would actually made a preferred jutsu like that, though. But she was thoughtful as she said these words, and her eyes narrowed. Despite herself, a part of Sarada was already attempting to reconcile Konohamaru's words with her image of the Hokage. Honey, Naruto one time beat a fellow Genin with a fart. Trust me, he did. Considered what Konohamaru had shown her. As she thought about it, he used that jutsu a couple other times, right? At least he can remember using it as a diversion so they could get away from some irate villages. That one time he said the Rasengan flying into a random house. It was also a passable distraction, at least. Still, it would have against their grain to accept this. There had to be many far better, more dignified ways to divert attention. What could ever make a preferred technique like that useful? She doubted its efficacy, but more still, she did dislike it, for the simple reason it struck her as somehow offensive. It irked her. She vaguely recalled what her mom uttered about sexist objectification one time they walked past a girl in a bikini hanging on wires. So he didn't really understand the term, but he felt like it was somewhat applicable. And then Sarada advancing herself using the technique. Despite herself, the processes of her thought inevitably went in this direction. She saw herself transforming into a naked, attractive woman. A woman. An adult. Sarada blinked. She looked down at her body. Specifically, she held up her hands and considered the length of her arms and legs. She clenched her fists, considering the great physical force she could exert with her punches, and how much her present fighting style relied on hand-to-hand combat. How old were you when you learned that jutsu? She tentatively asked, curious. A couple of years younger than you, Konohara said. Lord Seventh taught me to it when he was 12. I'm not sure what he actually invented it. Sarada processed this, and again she considered the reach of her limbs. A statue of the woman into which Konohamaru had transformed, smaller than him as an adult, but probably a whole lot taller than he had been as a kid. Will I become the same as you if I use that jutsu? She asked. Konohamaru gave her a perplexed look. Could you be more specific? Transformation, she said. Would I adopt the same body you did? Well, you could, Konohamaru said. But when Naruto Nichan, Lord Seventh that is, taught me this jutsu, he just didn't give me hand seals and tell me to copy them. The important thing is to understand what works on people, and how a body naturally looks. What qualifies to make a person sexy. Sexy jutsus require a lot of study for you to make them really effective, you see. Sarada considered this. Her mind turned over his words. She imagined the seventh Hokage as a guinea. She see this team picture her mom kept with other photographs. Seventh had been the shortest member of the squad, probably one of the smallest of his graduating class. Yeah, he was short. Sarada could tell anything from a photograph. Again, she envisioned herself using the jutsu, but this time, she imagined herself at the end and the result as an adult, an idealized version of how her adult self might look. She saw herself as a grown woman, standing opposite a bewildered Boruto. She clenched her fists, imagining trading blows with her teammate while in the body of a grown woman, taller and possessing a greater reach, a crystal advantage. Her Sharingan glowed. She looked up at Konohamaru with a determined expression. Teach me, she finally said, convinced of this jutsu's worth. Konohamaru beamed, pleased with himself. You know, Sarada, sweetheart, the Chidori is able to withstand against the Rasengan, although, personally, I kind of would have loved if we had Boruto learn both Chidori and Rasengan, so when we meet up with adult Boruto later on in the story, in one hand, ball Rasengan. The other hand, a Chidori. A week later, Boruto and Sarada squared off and guided across each other in the training grounds, each adopting a standard pre-combat stance. Their bodies were held low, leaning forward like splinters about to burst forth into motion. Before their faces, they held a right index and middle finger in one hand, while the other discs curled towards the palm, sealed confrontation. A little way to the side, in the shade of a great feathered tree, stood Konohamaru, their instructor, and Mitsuki, their teammate. Konohamaru was smiling, proud to see his subordinates ready to test themselves. Mitsuki was also smiling, though his expression was once blander and more vaguely disconcerting, letting her eyes pierce both Sarada and Boruto. Are you ready to kill Sarada? Boruto said, grinning his opponent. I am, Sarada said, her expression coolly confident. Today will be my win, Boruto. I just want to point out that this is Sailor Venus facing off against Makoto. I like it. We'll see about that, Boruto said. But a super cool ninja won't lose in a plain spar. Neither will the future Hokage, replied Sarada. They both smiled. Begin! Konohamaru said, interjecting. And once the two adolescents moved into action, Boruto swung up his hands to perform a familiar cross seal. Sarada was a little quicker, though, as he formed her own seal before he could complete his jutsu. Brief! An eruption of white smoke enveloped the girl, and Boruto faltered for just an instant. Usually Sarada would begin by drawing kunai or shuriken, or activating her Sharingan, either waiting to make the first move so she could counter, or launching himself out into the tent to fight in a single blow. So he rarely started off with a tutu as such. Despite his momentary bemusement, Boruto still completed his own seal. He was about to summon forth his shadow clones when the smoke cleared. Then he got a good direct view of what Sarada had done. Blood flowed to his face and he froze. Thoughts of needing chakra and executing tutu were forgotten. Boruto stared at a naked, beautiful, 20-something woman with an uncanny resemblance to Sarada. Indeed, she looked like nothing less than his teammate aged up. And if that was the case, then adulthood would be very, very kind to Sarada. The view was unobstructed, to say the least. It was clear. He saw every inch, and goodness, what inches they were. He felt like he could have counted every dimple, like he could have closed his eyes and perfectly recited every detail 100 years hence. It was burned into the most wonderful of ways. Sarada dived forward, a confident look at her face. That expression alone was nearly enough to make Boruto swoon. Raised a fist and prepared to thrust it forth, now within striking range. Her eyes were dark, Boruto observed, like windows looking out into a deep, starless night, mysterious and unfathomable. It was intoxicating. You could make out every detail of her face, framed as it was by her glasses and tresses of short raven hair. Beheld her in entirety, a sight like a divine revelation. Boruto wondered why his heart was beating so frantically. He wondered why he felt so incredibly warm. He wondered why everything was spinning. Boruto fell backwards, propelled by a not insignificant spurt of blood from his nostrils. It collapsed from Sarada's knuckles and into his face, and his blood painted that fist a red darker than a blazing gun. He swooned a dead faint. He hit the ground and did not make any effort to get back up. He was, as it seemed, unconscious. Eh? Sarada looked down at Boruto, perplexed. Did I hit him? It didn't feel like it. Oh, you hit him all right, Mizuki said dryly. I don't think he'll ever forget that punch. He raised his hand to his mouth and snickered, amber eyes twinkling. Konohamaru frowned, though. You changed the jutsu from how we practice it. Why? He said. Sarada stood straight. Her form was slender, lithe and amber, lean and smoothly muscled. It was an attractive form, but not within the norm of ninja centerfold. Her bust was modest, and her figure compact. The first thing you taught me was impractical, she said blithely. It would have been a nuisance trying to fight with those huge boobs getting in the way. Also, the waist was too thin. I felt weird trying to practice with such a flimsy core. Konohamaru shook his head ruefully. Well, it worked on Boruto, he said, crossing his arms over his chest. But we'll need to go back to the drawing board. Also, he paused, coloring a little before averting his gaze. Where's the sister smoke? Oh, those wisps, she said. Well, they'd be blown away every time I tried to move or attack anyways, so I just got rid of them. Ah, fair enough, Konohamaru said. Just don't use the jutsu in the middle of the village. I guess. But I'm surprised you decided to go with a body so much like your own. He blushed a little more, and finally kept his eyes facing away from Sarada. It might be he had blatantly realized the potential improbability of teaching this jutsu to his squad's female, and a minor at that. Well, it was easier, Sarada said, more comfortable to move around in. So, as much as I enjoy looking at your naked body, Sarada, Mizuki interjected, maybe you want to dispel that jutsu now? If Boruto wakes up to see you standing him over in that state, it might actually kill him. Sarada gave Mizuki a confused look, but he shrugged to dispel the transformation. Konohamaru let out a sigh of relief. The Chunin turned bandit had their client cornered by Team Konohamaru's best efforts. His cohorts were drawn him away with diversity tactics, while he himself had crept out of sight. He was now raising a taichi, begging to cut down the person he was supposed to be protecting. Konohamaru saw this, and he made to intercept. 3 more bandits sprung in front of him, seeming to have no regard for their own lives. Boruto and Mitsuki were too far away to make it in time. Sarada knew he had only one chance. Hey, you! Despite himself, instantly caused the man to turn his head a fraction of a degree to find the one who called out to him. In that instant, Sarada executed her trump card. Sexy Sarada Jutsu! The man's cohort stared in disbelief. The student gaped and reddened, sword nearly forgotten. Even Konohama's kind gawked in amazement. Strauss sprang forward, thrust a fist, wrapped in lightning chakra at her target's midsection. The results weren't pretty. He didn't even try to block. "I'll get you this time, Sarada," said Boruto. "I've been studying, so your jutsu won't work on me." Mitsuki snoring, looking amusement dancing across his face. Konohamaru slung his hand down, told him to begin. Sarada performed her jutsu, transforming it into, by now, very familiar Sexy Sarada Jutsu, or SSJ. "We went there, didn't we?" "Yes, we did, Trix." He lunged for Boruto. This time he ducked aside and did not faint, though his face was still very red. He evaded her punch and darted inward, heedless of her arms, raising a fist of his own to bury her in his stomach. She easily swept him aside, combining superior strength and a greater reach to dominate. Boruto was not deterred, however, and quickly recovering, he darted around to try to come at her from behind. Boruto stopped and stared, frozen by the suddenness of his new view and the shock of winter and wind cutting into a warm house. For only a moment he was nonplussed by the sight of their posterior, but this moment was more than long enough for Sarada to spin around and send him flying with a devastating roundhouse kick. Konohamaru winced sympathetically. Inevitably, Sarada came to gain a certain reputation. Some called her the Sharingan Flasher, others named her the Hadaka Heroine, but most dubbed her the Tsukubai Goroshi, Pervert Killer. No man was safe from her terror, or her beauty. Mostly her terror. Eventually, though, news reached the ear of someone more dismayed than Sakura, who, though initially disapproving, came to appreciate the cunning of her daughter's style once she got to see it in action. Actually, Sakura felt to be somehow ironically fitting. She was very much proud of her daughter. Sasuke was less able to see in this impulsive light. "Naruto, you son of a bitch!" The seventh looked up from typing on his laptop to see his old rival and good friend glaring out from across the desk. "Oh, hey Sasuke, what brings you around?" Sasuke reached over the desk and grabbed the seventh Hokage by the collar. If Naruto's Anbu guards thought they could do anything more than die gruesomely and get their corpses underfoot should Sasuke actually attempt to assassinate Naruto, they might have actually moved to intervene. One or two of the braver ones were still about to attack, when Naruto raised a hand for them to wait. Yeah, Naruto probably didn't want to start telling families. Naruto looked unperturbedly at Sasuke. Finally, the one-armed man found the coherence to continue speaking. "You son of a bitch," he repeated. "What the hell is my daughter doing using that damned, idiotic, perverted piece of garbage you call a jutsu?" Naruto smiled blandly. "It works, doesn't it?" he said. "It's not like it's illegal." "Well, maybe it should be illegal," Sasuke hissed. "Maybe for a minor," Naruto mightily conceded. "I'm not the one who makes those decisions, though." Sasuke's eye twitched. "You're the Hokage." "Look, I'm not the one who taught her jujutsu," Naruto said, waving a hand. "But she wants to use it, and it works for her, then I'm not going to tell her to stop." Sasuke stared for a beat. "You find it amusing, don't you?" "A bit, yeah," Naruto grinned. "It's pretty funny." Sasuke did not share this opinion, judging by his death glare. Sir SSJ Sarada grinned and flashed a peace sign, or V for victory. She flashed many other things as well, standing unashamedly with a foot planted on the backside of a metaphorically flattened challenger. She stood on the training grounds, and all around her were dotted the growing forms of prior opponents. Boruto watched with a rapt, vaguely guilty expression, but he couldn't hide the redness in his cheeks or the slight beams in his eyes. He enjoyed watching his teammate fight, in a way he didn't completely want to understand. Konohamaru looked resigned and a little rueful, and he clearly tried to avoid looking at Sarada. Mitsuki smiled blandly, completely unfazed by the sight of Sarada's PK mode. It should be noted that most of Sarada's opponents were male. Not all of them, but most. They ranged a fair bit in age, too, going from newly graduated genin to well-seasoned career tuning. Most of the following had bloody noses, and some wore suspiciously blissful looks. Almost none of them had been wanted to punch in the face. While Sarada stood in the middle of the clearing and stretched, still in her SSC form. Her Sharingan was activated, and her body glistened with sweat. There wasn't a single scratch on her. Obviously, she had been hit. Her SSJ would have been dispelled. That was a good warm-up, Sarada said cheerfully, finishing her stretches and turning to look at her teammates. I'm ready to try pushing it to the next level. Who wants to tackle SSJ 2? Only if Spirit vs. Spirit starts playing. Boruto went beet red. Konohamaru turned away and pretended not to hear. Mitsuki gave Boruto a pound on the shoulder and pushed him forward. I think Boruto wants to try, he offered. The blonde gave his friend a look of mixed betrayal and gratitude. Also betrayal. Mitsuki simply smiled. Okay, Sarada said, Sharingan flashing, wiped a bit more sweat from her brow. Thanks, Boruto. This is really good for increasing stamina. You're a great pal. Boruto blushed and mumbled a distractingly non-committal response. Well, it's not really that, but sure, okay, whatever. He adopted a sparring stance, gulping nervously. Sarada flexed. Her body swelled with a building chakra, energy pumping into her transformed figure. Certain parts of her swelled very much indeed. Boruto waddled a rosy face and a trickle of blood from his nose. Sarada was enveloped by smoke. When it cleared, a more conventional sexy jutsu form became visible. It was once thinner and curvier, more buxom and more hippie, and more slender at the waist. It was unrealistic, but phenomenally sexualized hourglass figure. Transformation on top of a transformation, and despite her near impossibility of that figure, it looked incredibly solid. Sparks of electricity danced around her body also, and tongues of flame lit her skin like a balwara, a shroud of aggressively natured chakra. Are you enjoying the... Oh no. Legendbringer, don't do it. Don't read the next sentence. Sarada moved, taking a quick and decisive step forward. There was much tickling involved. Clear. Thanks, Rex. Blood spewed from Boruto's nostrils, and he fainted dead away. Sarada stopped and pad. What's that now? She crossed her arms over her chest, cheeks flushing. Boruto, you perv! Where are you getting a nosebleed? Boruto twitched weakly. He did not answer. Sasuke ducked behind a tree, a little ways away, his face pinker than his wife's hair. God, it's worse than I thought, he realized. I'm going to kill Naruto. Seriously, I'm going to kill him. Raised his hands to his nose and felt warm wetness. Blood seeped through his fingers. As soon as I visit a psychiatrist. Sasuke, that time has passed years ago. You needed a psychiatrist the moment Itachi decided it was time to do some house cleaning. Yodo of Sonorakure was a stylish, attractive lass. She's bold in her manner of dress, though some might say it was inappropriate for a girl her age. Well, she liked to show some skin, and wasn't particularly worked up to think someone might get against something more private when she really got moving around. Still, Yodo did have some sense of modesty. There was a limit to what she would consider sane or sensible for a girl to show off to the world. Sarada mastered that limit without a second thought. Yodo's teammates stared in amazement, a little rapture at the form of Sarada as she leaped through the mist of the bandit camp. Her naked, fleshless body writhed in a current of lightning and blazing fire. The boys were gobsmacked. A part of Yodo felt momentarily jealous that Sarada had so quickly and firmly tried to focus on her teammates, but the rest of her was preoccupied with wonder and amazement. A mixture of incredulous disbelief and grudging respect for and apparently effectiveness of Sarada Uchiha's signature jutsu. The bandits were completely taken aback by the sight of a beautiful, naked woman landing in their midst. Probably didn't help that this woman was blazing with chakra, breathing an aura of fire and lightning, leading around it with Sargon and light. They were obviously torn between any number of possible responses. For a long moment they just stood there, dumbstruck. Sarada's teammates watched. The pretty one was blinded, smiling. Hokage's kid was blushing. It's funny how many bandits there are, Mitsuki said conscientiously, watching it as the fight red, one-sided bloodbath began. Have you ever noticed that? It seems like any other mission has us hunting down badness, cleaning out bandit camps, or protecting clients from bandits. We kill so many bandits that I can't even imagine how many still are out there. Maybe it's a conspiracy, or maybe it's just lazy writing. Yoda gave him a bewildered look as he glanced at Boruto for clarification. He shrugged helplessly, as though it was clearly hard to look up from SSJ to Sarada. Don't mind Mitsuki, Boruto said. He's just being Mitsuki. It's what I do best. Right, Yoda muttered. So, I know it looks like Sarada's doing well, but shouldn't we go down there and help? Teamwork is important to you, Leaf Ninja, right? If you want to risk getting your way, feel free, Konohamaru said. But I'm not going down there until she's dropped the transformation. I was the way to catch you off guard with it, even if you've seen it 100 times before. And I don't think she distinguishes much between friend and foe once she's gotten going. It'll be really entertaining to watch you get beaten up by Sarada, though. Mitsuki remarked. I think there are probably people who would pay a lot of money to see that happen. Go ahead. I'll try to stop in before she kills you. I can't make any promises. The comment was off-putting, a little too close to truth for comfort. The other grins. Yeah, okay, yeah, no thanks. She could see it. Mitsuki laughed. Really? That's too bad, he said. I was hoping to film it on my phone and sell the footage. I would have shared my profits with your surviving relatives, too. Are you sure you don't want to head down there? Yeah, sure. Yoda said more firmly, blatantly doubt, definitely. A pity. Mitsuki didn't seem too torn up about this. Despite his words, and quite cheerfully he changed the thought, not missing a single beat. Do you want to learn Sarada's jutsu, though? I'm sure Konohamaru Sensei could teach it to you. Yoda actually considered this for a moment. On the one hand, it went against her grain. She was more aware of certain things Sarada was, probably. She was more consistent on how and why he might consider it weird or improper. Moreover, she felt more self-conscious about the idea of exposing herself to random opponents, even as she did in a transformed body, not her real one. On the other hand, she could see the effectiveness of Sarada's jutsu for herself. She didn't know if she would be able to pull off half the crazier shit Sarada was doing, but she could see how most of the valid attributes of the technique were under useful advance. It'd be a possible trump card, maybe. Well, she said thoughtfully. No! Konohamaru said, interrupting a bit loudly. The bandits were mostly out of commission or distracted, despite her field of persistence. He buzzed in, cleared his throat. Sorry, but no. Just one of those monsters running around is bad enough. He looked down to where Sarada was exactly pulverizing the last bandits, combining the surgical prevention and monster strength with a healthy dose of variety and sanity from both sides of the family. You don't know how to admit, she could understand his point. So, kid me, when did you start having these feelings about your daughter? It's not about my daughter, Shigesu, Sasuke said, glowering as one kind comrade. It's just her jutsu. And what the hell are you doing? Trying to pass yourself off as a therapist? I came here looking for a professional. I am a professional, man. I have a license to practice psychiatry in 4 of the great nations and surrounding territories, said Sugetsu, as well as a bachelor's degree in psychology and related fields. I decided to get formal qualifications so I could officially diagnose Kyrie as batshit insane stalker. Unfortunately, it turns out that this isn't a recognized classification. Still, it was fun to rub it in her face. The fact that you were qualified to diagnose her mental and emotional state? Huh? Sugetsu blinked, torn from a smug reverie. Oh, sure, that too. Sasei decided not to seek further details. Well, as I was saying, he said, I'm not attracted to my daughter. I'm not sick. Not a word, Trixie. Not a word. It's just that her jutsu. Well, Naruto's jutsu. I've told you about his stupid ninja centerfold, right? Sugetsu gave his patient and former leader a deadpan look. Sasuke, you have never volunteered information about yourself or your past that wasn't immediately revelating to wanting to kill Itachi, or later wanting to destroy Konoha. A beat. I do know about the 7 Hokage sexy jutsu, though. He used it to beat Kage, right? Must have been pretty hot. Sasuke wondered briefly whether it would be worth it to correct Suigetsu, or whether or not he wanted to know exactly what that man was thinking. He decided he did not, on either account. Right. Well, it's not my daughter who's making me, bleed. Yeah, bleed. Yeah, I know what you mean, said Suigetsu dryly. It isn't your daughter, but it's her jutsu. Does she turn into a different woman? But I don't think you're such a high-strung guy. You get this freak out if it's that simple. I'm also sure sexy jutsu doesn't involve just making your clothes fast, or we'd be having a very different conversation. Yes, Sasuke said dryly. If it did, I would have followed through on my old vow, and Naruto and Konoha would have vanished off from the map. Suigetsu nodded, jotted something down on his notepad. Sasuke lay on the couch before him while he sat in his chair. It was a classical setup, and Suigetsu even dressed in the dully professional sort of clothes you might expect to see a therapist while winding the clock. They were in an office, not far from one of Orochimaru's hideouts. Well, can you describe what your daughter looks like when she wears, I mean, uses that sexy jutsu? Suigetsu asked. Plus he finished note-taking. Sasuke's face reddened. I will not. Don't take it the wrong way, Suigetsu said placatingly. I just want to understand why it's bothering you. Sasuke grunted. After a quiet, uncomfortable moment, he said, well, she looks like herself, but older. More adult, I suppose. Like her mother in her first form, except where she resembles me, or my own mother in some ways. He said only reluctantly. His face was pink. It was clear he was trusting a lot to Suigetsu's confidence. Therefore, with all the tact and professionalism available to him, Suigetsu softly and comfortably responded, So you want to bang your mom, then? Sasuke gave him a deaf glare. Considering that a glare from Sasuke could literally kill a man, it was much more potent than most others he could be described. Don't make me hurt you. The man said a little too coldly for her to say. I won't, Suigetsu said. But you say she looks like a mix of you, your wife, and, well, it's just the easiest comparison. Sasuke said, obviously, there will be a certain strong resemblance. Right, of course. If she bases it on herself, there'd be naturally a more familiar resemblance. Suigetsu said, scribbling something else onto his notepad. But, first form, you say? Well, there's a second level, Sasuke said, face reddening more deeply. That's the one that really got me. In the first stage, she looks like a normal, real woman. But she doesn't look real in the second form. She looks real, Sasuke said, but also, well, you know the airbrush, Photoshop supermodels you saw on magazine covers? I'm familiar. Well, she looks like that after she transforms a second time, except curvier, fewer blemishes. I see. Anything else? Well, she also gets surrounded by an aura of fire and lightning chakra, Sasuke added, but I don't think that's relevant. Probably not, Sasuke said, not sounding convinced, but she still looks like her daughter. Essentially, Sasuke said, looking distinctly uncomfortable, but not just because the counts had terrible lumbar support. Enough like her that I feel, well, you know. Aroused? No, Sasuke said, guarding daggers. Okay, just checking, said Shiketsu. Me another note. I have to be sure. But she looks enough like herself to make you feel guilty about retracting obviously to transformation. Make you wonder if you got some kind of problem. Is that accurate? Basically, Sasuke muttered. He's still a bit churlish over that last remark. Alright, Shiketsu said. Just one more question then. How often were you around your daughter when she was growing up? There was a long silence. A very long silence. Too long, some might say. Sasuke sitting uncomfortably on the couch. I'm not asking you to diagnose her, he finally said. Maybe I should have been around more. And maybe if she had a clear, impressive father figure, she wouldn't have turned to jutsu like that. But I was on a mission for the Kokage. I couldn't afford to stay in the village. They need me to do the jobs nobody else can handle. It's all so that Sarada could grow up in a safe and peaceful world. You sound defensive. I am not. Sure, but I wasn't asking to check about her. Shigesu gives Sasuke a serious look. Have you ever heard of reverse sexual imprinting? What? I see. Sakazu said. I think I have some papers you might find instructive then. He produced a monograph titled The Western Mark Effect, and subtitled Preventing the Deleterious Effects of Inbreeding on a Population by Inhibiting Attraction in Close Relatives. Further subtitled, and why it is therefore potentially important for immediate biological relatives to have close contact during early stages of childhood development. Sasuke stared. Yeah, I feel he knew what Sasuke was getting at. Now. Oh, yeah, Sasuke replied, on the bright side, he might potentially recuperate. Sasuke laid his hand on the hilt of his sword. Lightning chakra cancels out your flesh-turning to water thing, right? He said in imitation of conversational tone. Sorry to leave the move, man! Sugetsu said nervously, raising his hands. No need for silly failed threats, right? A beat. Sasuke cast Amaretsu on the far wall. You better clean out your office before it burns to the ground. And then he left. Sasuke hurling a string of fiery, ineffective at his back. You know, I used black fire at least 3 times. I used the Amaretsu technique at least 3 times in Fall Starfleet. Nobody notices. No one. I have Dash. I have Twilight take it out. I have Dash take it out, and I have Conquest use it. See, now that I think about it, I think I used at least. No, wait. I think I had Fertility use it once. Man, everybody just uses the Black Fire technique. Maybe I should consider talking to Sasuke. Oh shit! It's the Pervert Killer! Run! Squander wondered when people had started treating her differently. That is, differently than how you used to treat her. She'd always been treated a little differently than most of her peers, of course. It was complicated, yet perfectly natural. Her dad was both a legendary hero and war criminal. Her mom was the best medical ninja in the world. She herself was the heiress of one of the most ancient ninja clans in existence, the bearer of a bloodline descended from gods, and a natural genius with a business to become the next Hokage. She'd never been treated quite the same as other people, unless by her own family, close friends thereof. But still, she was definitely being treated differently these days. A group of girls and young women squealed to Sarada. They held together, silently whispering. An old man peered hopefully at her, with his middle-aged daughter looking at her since. Several boys around Genny knees froze up when they saw her. The younger boys looked excited. The older ones seemed afraid. She passed a yellow poster, photocopied from her page in the bingo book, listing a series of bounties placed by a number of persons and organizations. The size of these bounties was well over 100 million Rio. Also listed are various aliases and epithets. Let's look up half a page, as well as a short, clear summary of our background and affiliation. At the very bottom, it listed her age as under 13, classified her as an S-rank ninja. The entry had been compiled by enemies, and might have well included the phrase, flee on sight, without the slightest hint of irony. Sarada looked up at the sky, as he wondered why Boruto seemed to have gotten so hopelessly awkward lately. For this, at least, she had some guess. It didn't please her to think of how awkward he was with her, even as he didn't care to analyze the feeling too closely. Absentmindedly, she smiled. She wasn't really thinking about these things too hard. If she did, she'd probably arrive pretty quickly at the correct conclusion. After all, she was a bright kid. She could do basics. It wasn't hard to remember that she first learned the sexy jutsu, or was he started using it on missions and fights, nor was he ignorant to the various titles he had been given. She honest herself, really? Sarada already knew the answer. She liked to pretend she was oblivious. Being called a bearskin berserker, or the embodiment of female wrath, or the bane of all perverts was flattering. But this stuff was also fun in its own regard. It was liberating, exhilarating, empowering. Some people, exposing themselves, will only feel fear, whether judgment or ridicule. Not so for Sarada. For her, beauty had become a weapon. After all, she was 20 years old now, and next in line to become Hokage. Going SSJ these days basically meant us blinking her clothes out of existence. And SSJ 2 was just what she used in the bedroom. She was Sarada, sexy Sarada Jutsu Ichiya. She was the Sharingan Blaster, the Hanukkah heroine, Shiosuke Goroshi, Pervert Killer. She also wanted to be called Keko Kamen, but that name was taken. What? Turkey is so surprised you used a joke that she doesn't think anybody is going to recognize. Hey, why do people watch this show? They don't want to see me bring out random ass crap and also weird old references that nobody's going to get. Her signature technique was the Arake no Jutsu. She was considered the strongest shinobi alive, Konnichiwa or otherwise. That was how badly she humiliated the competition. So what did it matter? She was also an exhibitionist. She liked to show her naked body. It's just a coincidence, she assured you. Ding. Yeah, I love Sarada too. Sarada is the next gen characters. I gotta admit, Sarada is my favorite, and probably one of the strongest, most badass females in the Naruto story that I think I've seen so far. Next to her, next to Hinata, of course. Strong, reliable, and dang awesome. This is why I disagree with that one wiki comment that Boruto's stronger than her. No, Boruto's just skilled in more jutsu than she is. In a one-on-one fight, I'm still putting money on Sarada being able to outsmart the son of the Izumaki family. After all, there is a reason why she's awesome. But I digress. Back to the fic. It's awesome. I love the hilarity of all this. And in a way, this kind of speaks about the differences between how some old jokes have changed. Back in the old days, we think nothing of Naruto bringing out the 16 no Jutsu at age 12. Nowadays, it seems kind of weird. But more importantly, I like how it shows the differences between Sarada versus characters like Naruto. Whereas Naruto uses it as a one-time thing, Sarada actually uses it as a weapon, a skill to be able to take down our opponents. I also like the way it looked at Sasuke when he was thinking about it. Don't worry, Sasuke, you're probably just more thinking of Sakura than anything else. I haven't watched much Boruto, so I can't say how in character everybody is here, but I can tell you this was really well done and hilarious to watch. Well, one down, that's where to go. See you next time.